Our combine coverage kicks off with a man who doesn't even have a first-round draft choice because Bill O'Brien and the Texans have Deshaun Watson to come into this building once a year to compete in the AFC South. In Texas as well, Jason Garrett, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, coming in to the combine today, along with the man Tom Coughlin and the coach Doug Marrone, whose Jaguars almost made it to the Super Bowl this year out of the AFC South. Todd Bowles, the number 6 overall pick in the draft for the Jets. He's coming to watch offensive linemen and running backs on a Combine Friday.
For all those who reach this stage, it is the overriding goal and motivation to announce their arrival.
I am Josh Rosen.
I am Bradley Chubb.
I am Sam Darnold.
And this is where it begins, where the future becomes the present.
Here we go, eyes up, that's it.
Before they became household names, the biggest stars all started from the same place, this place.
Cam Newton, Auburn University. J.J. Watt, University of Wisconsin.
Odell Beckham Jr., LSU.
Now, the spotlight shines on the next generation of stars. Today, 2 positions that can define an offense. Foundational pieces of great walls. And a potent collection of dynamic game breakers. The next stars are here, waiting to be born.
1, 2, 3,
the next big names revealed today.
I am Mike McGlinchey. Ronald Jones II. Orlando Brown.
Know my name.
Know my name.
Welcome to yet another exclusive coverage of the NFL Scouting Combine from Indianapolis, Indiana, right here on the home of the National Football League NFL Network. And to use the parlance of our open, I am Rich Eisen. Know his name, Mike Mayock. What a pleasure to be next to you, sir, for yet another Combine here in Indy.
What's your number this year on the 40, you personally?
Oh, gosh. All I know is Chris Johnson and Mr. Ross better be awake this coming weekend. What are your overall thoughts on the 2018 Scouting Combine, Mike Mayock?
I'm amazed at what it's grown to, Rich. It's really kind of interesting because people forget that back in the 1980s, the reason this started was as a medical clearinghouse for NFL teams to share information. Flash forward all these number of years now, we televise it live. The kids are here for 4 days. The first 3 are all medical, psychological, and interviews at night. And then finally they get to show off a little bit and come out here today. And today we've got the linemen and the running backs, and you're going to see some special stuff.
Well, very rarely does a team with a top 5 pick come into a draft and say, I got to get me a guard. But this kid that sits at the top of your interior lineman list is pretty darn special.
You know, there's some trepidation because if you look back at the last 2 top 10 picks as offensive guards, it was actually the same year, Jonathan Cooper and Chance Warmack, and they both were busts. However, when I look at my interior offensive line group, Quentin Nelson to me is a top 5 pick in any draft. He's a transformational offensive lineman. He'll make you better immediately. Those next 4 guys, I think, will all be going in the first 50 picks. So that's a great group of interior offensive linemen.
And then the tackles, what do you think of these kids?
Last year was a down year. Teams need tackles, okay? Mike McGlinchey, Orlando Brown, and Connor Williams, I don't think any of them are top 10 picks, and I don't think anyone's the definitive number 1 tackle, but I think all 3 of those guys will go in the first round, and then I think we've got some really good depth beyond that.
And then that's the offensive line group. As for the running backs, there's 32 of them we're going to see today, 1 for each team, should they so choose to draft one.
Right.
And last year's class was pretty darn special, where you got Leonard Fournette at the top, Alvin Kamara right there in the 3rd round. What do you think about this class compared to who we're going to see today, Mike?
If you look at those names, I mean, all 6 of those players through 3 rounds made their football teams better. Cook and Mixon got hurt, but they're special talents. Mm-hmm. It was the best group I've ever seen. Now, coming into this year, I think it's close, and I'm talking about quality up top and depth throughout. So when you start with the number 1 guy like a Saquon Barkley at the top end and know that you can go through 3 rounds with quality, it's really special. Barkley, he's a top 5 pick in any draft. And then Geis Jones, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, trust me, they're all going to play and make a difference next year.
Well, sure. So many of those young men that you just mentioned right there, as well as in the offensive line group we saw on Saturdays. No question about that. We're here in a Friday, Combine Friday. Charles Davis is with us once again, headlining along with the rest of the guys there in the end zone. Take it away, Charles.
All right, Rich, thanks a lot. You're exactly right. I do have a couple of headliners with me. Steve Smith Sr., one day it'll be a gold jacket sitting up here talking with us. And Daniel Jeremiah, one of the best talent evaluators in the business. Steve, I'll start with you. What are you looking for as we kick off this year's Combine?
I'm looking for, when you see all these guys, all the skill guys, you question how well were they going to do? Well, they're going to do as well as you can pick these offensive linemen. These offensive linemen protect your assets. And that's what they are. And these guys are going to show you what they can do. And I believe once it's all said and done after today, some cream is going to rise to the top and separate themselves.
It's about depth, too, when you're a team trying to build that offensive line. All you got to do is look at the Philadelphia Eagles winning a Super Bowl last year after losing an all-pro left tackle. So building depth, that's what you're looking to do out here watching these workouts if you're the teams. And then to just kind of to hammer home what Mike was talking about, I've got 10 running backs with top 3-round grades in this group. So it is a phenomenal year for running backs.
Yeah, and don't forget last year, Kareem Hunt was a 3rd-round pick out of Toledo, led the NFL in rushing, and you did it deliberately about the Eagles. You didn't want to say Halapoulivaati Vaitai.
I was going to go big
taking over
know
for Jason Peters, right?
All out there.
Okay, well, Rich, you just remember this. We are in the house of Peyton Manning, and you love kickers, right? Well, there's a punter here, Shane Trapuka. His grandfather wore number 18 for the Broncos that Peyton had to get permission to wear for the Broncos. So it comes full circle. We're right back here now. Punters are people, too.
You are speaking my language, sir. And in that regard, there are 7 punters, 4 kickers, and 1 long snapper we're going to see here today, too.
The 2018 NFL Scouting Combine is brought to you by Old Spice. Je ne parle même pas français. Oh la la.
40-yard dash presented by Old Spice. Here is our first offensive lineman from Michigan State, Ryan Allen.
His brother Jack was at the Combine a couple years ago, and if you take a look at this kid, Rich, look at him right now. That's who his brother is. They're the same guy. They're the same height, the same weight. They play very similarly. He ran 5.33. His brother in 2016 ran 5.29.
Here's the man with the first overall pick in the draft. He was here with the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and they parted ways during the season.
Keep in mind who he
John
took
Dorsey
last year in Kansas City in the first round. He traded up to get the biggest arm quarterback in the draft, Patrick Mahomes. Do you think he's looking at Darnold and Josh Allen? I do.
There's Orlando Brown, you mentioned, had a disappointing day in the weight and reps room.
He is a massive human being, just like his dad. You're talking 6'8", 345 pounds. 345, Rich, down from 380. Oof.
5'6".
That's a historically bad time, and you're going to be simulcast with him a bunch this week.
I don't mean to laugh, but he does have a second run still to come here. There's a shot of him with his dad's jersey.
Wow.
The late Zeus.
Now, Alex Kappa, one of my favorite players in this draft from Humboldt State, which I didn't even know where Humboldt State was, Rich.
Well, you got to come out to California a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm allergic to your stage there in Culver City.
Why does Alex Kappa intrigue you so much, Mike?
We're going to show you some video of him at some point today from Humboldt State. He's got probably more of an edge than any offensive lineman I've ever watched on tape. And Rich, all he does is throw guys out of the club. He picks them up and throws them. It's a great video.
Well, we were talking about Lamar Jackson. Here's somebody who's been blocking for him. Jerron Christian, 5'3",
He's picked up some steam from some of the scouts I've been talking to. He came out early this year as a junior. Could have used another year, but he's got some talent, and teams think he's a potential starter as an offensive lineman.
Well, good to see Gary Kubiak here. Obviously, that's the Duke on the left, who selecting 5th overall. could be in the market of a quarterback unless they go ahead and throw their hat in the Kirk Cousins ring or on other free agent quarterbacks as they're expected to go check out when the league year starts in a couple of weeks. Will Clapp right there of LSU. Again, just to make note, we're here at the Combine, right? Franchise tags need to be delivered, placed, or in the case of a player, slapped. Teams say they placed the franchise tag. Players would say they had it slapped on them. That's the way we talk in the business.
Is that how we talk?
Do.
And I'm learning every day.
That's the royal we, obviously, what you're saying. But at any rate, it's Mason Cole of Michigan runs. Then a week after that, the new league year begins. And off we go. Figuratively, off we go. And Mason Cole is literally off he goes at 5-2-3 there.
51 consecutive starts at your alma mater, Rich. He was the first true freshman offensive line to start opening day at Michigan. Think about the history of Michigan, and that's the first guy. It's pretty cool.
Marty Herney back in the general manager saddle in Carolina, along with Ron Rivera, whose defensive coordinator is now here as the head coach of Arizona. Norv Turner's the offensive coordinator there now. He's back in this building. He's an assistant. Nevada's Austin Corbett.
I like this player here. A couple years ago, Nevada had a player named Joel Bitonio that went in the second round to Cleveland, has played a very high level, and I think this is a similar player. He was a former walk-on, and I believe he's going to go on the second day of the draft. He was a tackle at Nevada, and like Bitonio, he's going to kick inside. And I think once you get him in an NFL nutrition program, weight program, he's going to become a very good player, a starter in the NFL.
You will be fast.
5-1-5. There's Big Red right there. Andy Reid watching his former assistant go to his former place of business and bring home the trophy he tried so hard to bring to the great city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, new tandem there with Brett Veach, of course, being moved up to general manager. And I'll tell you, what Doug Peterson did in Philadelphia with Howie Roseman is historic.
Tyrell Crosby. It's interesting, 45% of the starters in Super Bowl 52 for Philadelphia were free agent acquisitions. So there's obviously different ways to build a team.
Let me put it this way. What Howie Roseman and his staff did in a 2-year period after Chip Kelly left, to rebuild that roster, and I'm talking about draft, free agency, and trades.
To de-chipify the team?
No, I'm not even being a wise guy. I mean,
right.
They're just completely different schemes, etc.
Right.
Where they went from 2 years ago to winning a Super Bowl title is amazing, and they did it using all facets of player personnel.
Jameel Dimby, Maine, Black Bear here at the Combine.
Helped himself at the Senior Bowl. Straight up and down. Wow.
He was 5'6'9".
He looked like you a little bit.
That's not a good thing for if you're trying to get drafted. We are off and running here from the NFL Scouting Combine on day one. Offensive linemen with running backs to follow. All right. While we were gone, they did fix it in time for one offensive lineman to run. Brian Allen improved his time by 3/100ths of a second.
His brother Jack, who's with New Orleans, practice squad and IR, ran 5.29. I'm telling you, they're the same friggin' guy.
And Orlando Brown, who ran a 5.86, who you basically said that's my pace car.
Correct.
He improved. I guess there's nowhere to go after that except down, thankfully for him. 5.77 was his second run. So that was Orlando Brown.
We're going to have to go back in the analytics world and find out how many offensive linemen have run worse than 5.7 at the Combine. And I need that list.
Kappa's second run is 5.33. Daniel Jeremiah, you have the floor.
Father, to me, Orlando Brown's father, one of my favorite guys I was around with the Baltimore Ravens. I used to be the Turk when I started there. The first time I went down to the locker room, I looked at the nameplates to figure out who I was trying to cut here. He reaches up, he grabs his nameplate off the locker and chucks it all the way across the locker room. So I said, I think you're okay, Orlando. You're not getting cut.
That's a bad job, DJ.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, my goodness, is that a bad job?
Being the Turk?
Yeah. I still remember a guy that cut me in Pittsburgh. A 14-year-old kid knocking on the door.
Are you serious?
At 5 a.m.
Are you serious?
And I'll tell you, talk about a visceral reaction. 2 roommates. I was with the 4th-round wideout, and there was it's cuts, and there's a knock on the door, and we know one of us or both of us are gone with the knock. He looks at me, and I look at him, and we both are thinking the same thing. I hope it's you. which is an awful human emotion, but it's so true.
Of course. So the 5.4 time of Will Clapp is now 5.43. Normally, as you know, if you've noticed, we do have a running clock while the runner is running, for the lack of a better phrase. But there was a timing issue, and basically we could tell you they swapped out a couple of machines.
Thingamajigs.
And we're trying to figure it out right now. Mason Cole, 5.23 first run. He goes now. And his second run is a 5.30 flat. Once again, Tom Coughlin in his usual position. He's the first human being on a long column of evaluators with stopwatches on the 10-yard split time.
Yep.
Which is perhaps the most important number for offensive linemen. Because, look, if an offensive lineman is running 40 yards continuously, there's a big problem more often than not. But the 10-yard can give you an idea of how fast somebody can get out and hit the second level.
10 yards is more about quickness and explosion.
Sure.
And there's some technique involved from a track perspective, but it's more about quickness and lower body explosion. I think the 3 guys so far that have kind of stood out, Rich, after now we're in our second, is Austin Corbett, Hernandez, and, of course, the small school kid from West Georgia. DJ, what do you got?
I went and watched Austin Corbett work out about a week ago. He was running the low 5.3, so the adrenaline got going. He ran a great time today. And to me, when I watch him, he's a day one starter who's going to love the fact he gets to put his hand in the ground and drive somebody. Playing that spread offense, I think, was a great fit for him, but he's made for the next level.
Yeah, I agree. He's a starter. I think he's a guard, DJ.
No question. Joel Bitonio, I mean, that's the blueprint for him.
Yeah, exactly right. I love Bitonio.
Desmond Harrison, you were referring to, running a 4.9 flat, is going to be coming up shortly.
That's a good number for Tyrell Crosby, also at a 5.2, who I think is a starting right tackle in the league.
Here's Jamil Demby.
Way to get out.
Demby from Maine. Straight up and down runner.
I'm telling you, if you put a suit on him, he's Rich Eisen.
Oh, stop it. My head moves a little bit more than that.
He helped himself at the Senior Bowl.
Look at that.
He got a 5.55.
It's one up from the Moses Malone.
Yep. I thought he showed at the Senior Bowl that he belonged with the big school guys.
Triple nickel for Jamil Demby. Nick Gates, Nebraska.
Went to the same high school out in Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, that Ronnie Stanley went to, Notre Dame, and 4th overall pick of Baltimore a couple years ago.
Nebraska getting in.
Gotcha. My bad.
Right. Scott Frost to come back home after his. Would you raise the banner if you're Central Florida, Mike?
Central Florida had some players, man.
They did.
And Scott
see a lot of them here.
I'm telling you, Scott Frost did a great job with those guys.
You know, the NFL honored them at the Pro Bowl as a national champion.
Undefeated and beat Auburn in their bowl game.
No longer.
They sure did.
3 good counts for us, that's all.
So
you're good. You'll be fast.
I'm looking at the list, Rich, of players.
Yes.
Offensive linemen that have run 5.7 or worse since 03.
Yes.
Not one of them has had a career in the NFL. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Damian Mama was last year at a Southern Cal, so the jury's still out on him. He ran 5.84, and he has a chance to be a player in the NFL. But all I'm telling you is from an analytics perspective, when people look that Orlando Brown benched 14 and then came out and ran 5.7 plus, you're going to have to go back to his tape and say, hey, we believe in this guy, because the analytics tell you the opposite.
It's Nick Gates, 5.45. He's a 5.4 runner.
So tough kid. tackle. He's going to have to kick inside.
Colby Gossett.
Had a positive week at the Senior Bowl. Came in and competed. Daniel Jeremiah and I were laughing because DJ obviously has a vested interest in the App State kids, and he kept blocking yellow helmets at the Senior Bowl, which is a good thing because that means there were 2 LSU defensive tackles, and he did a heck of a job competing with those guys, and I think the Senior Bowl really helped Gossett.
Also blocked some Alabama guys as well, Mike. Let's not forget that.
DJ, don't get too defensive, okay?
He's looked great, though, man.
He really has.
Ooh.
There's Dez.
Well, that was an odd finish there. Everyone in red shirts who are looking to see if he's okay, and man, he just he broke the tape.
4
and then
7 5.
Then broke the timers.
You're just not used to offensive linemen leaning. He leaned. That was now. Let's put this kid Des Harrison in perspective. 3 high schools, 3 colleges. He started out at a JC in college. Then he went to Texas. You don't go to Texas unless you're a big-time recruit. Suspended, left the program after 2 years, was out of football for a couple of years, came back at Western Georgia this year. Now, West Georgia is the team that had 2 draft picks out of their division last year, where there were only 6 Division II players taken, and 2 of them were from West Georgia. Dylan Donahue and Alex Armah. So this Desmond Harrison dude has opened some eyes, Rich.
Well, I mean, 4.75, if that stands up, is 2 100ths of a second faster than Carson Wentz, quarterback.
He's going to have to prove some things.
An offensive lineman. I mean, if we're going to start seeing offensive linemen faster than quarterbacks who are fast for their own right. Here's Will Hernandez.
That's 2 great times for him. I see Richie Incognito. I mean, they both have this nasty edge. They're maulers in the run game, and you think they're not going to be real good pass protection because of their feet, but they've got really solid feet. I think Hernandez is a day 1 starter in the NFL, and you want to get in a fight in the phone booth? That's the guy right there, Will Hernandez. Charles, what do you think about Hernandez?
No, I like him a bunch, Mike, and I think the difference in the comparison, when I say difference, the one thing about Hernandez, you don't have the other stuff swirling around him that Richie Incognito's had swirling around him since he went to college to begin with. Hernandez is a much cleaner player, but when I think of him, I think of those Iowa offensive linemen. They get a great offensive line coach, and Kirk Ferentz, their head coach, is an offensive line guru and technician. What did Hernandez have at UTEP? Had his O-line coach. His head coach was Sean Kugler, who's now back in the NFL in Denver as an offensive line coach. Remember, that's who Hernandez played for at the Senior Bowl as well.
That's right.
You do realize that we've probably reached the point in time, Mike Mayock, where a phone booth analogy is lost on the kid you're describing is in the phone booth because they don't know what that actually is.
It's probably a pretty good point. So you're saying I got to kind of modernize my vocabulary a little bit.
I'm just saying. I get it. I get it. I mean, I could sit here and say that our research packet from Bill Smith and the great NFL research group is thicker than a phone book, but they probably wouldn't know what that meant either. All right, our first simulcam of our 2018 Combine coverage presented by Old Spice is Desmond Harrison against Carson Wentz, who ran a 4.77 official. And the official 40 times of Group 1 is in. And Harrison is official 4.9 flat. So that is the fastest we've seen now. There he is. Carson Wentz. What an incredible combine he had. We all know that the Eagles were eyeing him. They traded up. You mentioned, again, as we're now on on-field drills, about how Howie Roseman remade the team. He used one of Chip Kelly's favorite players the linebacker from Oregon.
The 40-yard dash again.
Yeah, he traded to the Miami Dolphins. Kiko Alonso moved up, kept
also
moving up.
Traded Maxwell and Alonso together to get from 13 to 8, and then from 8 to 2. Correct. And they got their franchise quarterback.
And then wound up getting the first-round pick back because the Vikings acquired Sam Bradford.
Right.
And we were all surprised that they decided to just stick Carson Wentz in there from snap one.
And then the coaching job to take Nick Foles and say, okay, we're going to revamp how we do things to make Nick comfortable was outstanding also. Everything they did in Philadelphia, from drafting and trading and Howie Roseman's side of it through Doug Peterson and their side of it, was just an amazing combination of coaching and personnel.
And now we're look to our right, and we see the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, because we're right next to the Colts booth, and it's Frank Reich.
Number 3 overall pick, sitting pretty because they have their quarterback, assuming Andrew Luck is healthy. Then they're sitting in a good position to either trade down or take the best position player in their opinion in the draft, which could be Barkley, Bradley Chubb, Quentin Nelson. Take your pick. It's really a great place for Indy to be.
Charles Davis?
Guys, we just watched James Daniels again from Iowa, and it was just so easy how he came out there and got out against the pass rusher. And all I keep thinking about is, as a defensive back, we talk about how precise your footwork needs to be, otherwise you're beat pretty quickly. I think the same thing obviously applies to offensive linemen, and James Daniels has, to me, a defensive back's footwork as a center.
Charles, when I was a little kid, my dad was the offensive line coach at the University of Penn, and I never really thought I was influenced by that at all, but for whatever reason, every game, every practice I go to, college or the NFL, I gravitate towards the offensive linemen, and I think because the offensive line coaches have to be so technical for these guys to be proficient, they're all great teachers, and I think that's what we saw at Iowa with Ferentz and James Daniels, and all these guys are outstanding teachers.
Taylor Hearn.
Hey guys, I got to tell you, the fastest riser though today is Taylor Hearn's shirt.
Nice. Very nice.
Hernandez.
Can somebody get him out of this medium, please? Before that broad jump. Or the vertical jump, I might add.
Hey, Mike, just to piggyback on what you're saying, playing offensive line is probably the most unnatural position. So you've got to drill it. You've got to, an offensive line, the Mushroom Society, as we love to call them, you kind of go off in the corner and you just over work the drills, work the hands. I loved what CD was saying about Daniels. The first thing that pops up when he comes out of that slide is his hands. Watch his hands on these drills. Every good offensive lineman sets with his hands up, just like a boxer. You don't ever want to drop your gloves. Yep. And I tell you, Daniels, his hands came right out. He's so fluid. Probably the best reach blocking center I've seen on film in a long time coming out of college.
Now we're going to put a 2-point, okay?
So,
again, rabbit.
What we just saw there was kick slide drill.
Don't deviate. Go as fast as you can. It's not contact.
And Jack Conklin,
once you get to the
former
junction
first-round pick out of Michigan State, was here a few years ago. Let's take a look at the practical applications again. Why do they do that drill here? There's Conklin, patient, drops his hips. Watch it now at right tackle against the Rams and Robert Quinn. Stays square as long as he can and then kicks the defensive end up the field, allowing Mariota to step up and ultimately to scramble. Again, at right tackle. Kicks him up the field, allows Mariota the option of stepping up inside of him. He protects from the inside out and forces those edge guys up the field past his quarterback.
The injury he suffered in the divisional playoff game, you have to wonder about his ability to maybe come back from that in time for next season, and it certainly affected the way that the Titans would be efficiently running their offense in that game. Here's Orlando Brown.
See, you can watch his feet and his hips, and Steve Smith said it. You know, he struggles, he plays high, but he's so mammoth. It's like, think of a guy like a King Dunlop, you know, and I'm not trying to say that's who they reminds me of. I'm just saying from a length and girth perspective, those guys are hard to get around. And the conversation is going to be, and I've already had a couple GMs text me as we sit here regarding Orlando Brown. The conversation is going to be, okay, 14 reps, 5.85 official in the 40. How much do you love his tape? And you better love his tape the higher you anticipate taking him.
You get texts on that iPhone 2 of yours sitting right there in front of you?
Dude, it's like 11. It's iPhone 11, okay? Leave me alone.
Why do all your colleagues laugh at that, knowing what exactly?
I don't know.
I couldn't believe it wasn't a flip phone, Rich.
You got it from Andrew Luck.
Tyrell Crosby. Good tape to watch him against Washington. Vita Vea, who's just a man-child. And Steve, what do you got, man?
Man, I like Crosby. I love what he does, but the only question is does he fall into that category of the Oregon system? Can he run block? Can he put his hands down on the ground and be as efficient as he is in the pass game? And that is, I think, the question with some of these Oregon guys, quarterbacks, running backs, and then offensive linemen.
Yeah, it's a larger conversation with all the spread systems around, and I've talked to a bunch of GMs and coaches that tell me there's a security blanket when you take a Big Ten lineman or you take a Notre Dame lineman. Why? Hand in the dirt. The system is similar to the NFL. There's pass protection rules. There's more awareness on the pass protection, so it's a lot easier to see which players translate based on what scheme they come out of.
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Bill Polian always partial to Big Ten players when he was here?
Bill Polian had a history, and I'll tell you, every GM has a footprint, and you can follow it. And his footprint was Big Ten followed by big schools. He didn't like the small school guys. And
I think a couple of drafts we noticed that the Giants with Tom Coughlin kept choosing team captains.
Yeah, all these guys monitor that.
Like, did you see Harrison do that?
Yeah,
that vertical set right there.
He waited for
right there. He's a guard.
He was waiting for the guy to come catch up to him.
Harrison waited for the edge guy.
Man,
How many pass rush?
That was pretty sweet right there.
How many edge blockers wait for the pass rusher to join?
We were in the middle of a conversation. I just started laughing.
Yeah, that looked pretty sweet. No, I remember when Laramie Tunsil came out here and just kind of like a Ferrari, just kind of slid back there. And this whole drill right here, this is really a tackle drill. I mean, for guards too, but this is a vertical set, what we call it. You got a wide rusher. All we want to see is how many kick slides can you stay square before you got to turn your hips. And, man, he was having a sandwich waiting for that rabbit to get there.
We saw 6 sub-5.3 40s from this group. The official times are out. Desmond Harrison, the fastest, 4.9 flat. And you've got Will Hernandez, Austin, Corbett followed by Gossett. And then there's Crosby and Cole, both 5.2.3. Back with more on-field drills with the first group of offensive linemen when we come back.
All right, welcome back to the NFL Scouting Combine 2018. Normally we show skyline shots, but I think Orlando Brown from Oklahoma qualifies as a skyline shot himself, don't you guys?
It's a big man.
That's a lot of man. The big All-American out of the University of Oklahoma here, putting on his display of his talents at the 2018 NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Welcome on back in, folks. I'm Charles Davis, sitting right next to Steve Smith Sr. and Daniel Jeremiah. And guys, what we've seen so far out of this first group of linemen, what are you thinking so far?
I think it's a mixed bag, right? I mean, I think we can roll some highlights. We can show everybody, if you missed it, how these guys did. Let's start with
Orlando Brown.
Didn't go great for it, to put it kindly. Orlando Brown coming off a bench press where he was underwhelming. The field workout was very average, and the 40, guy's one of the worst 40s we've seen at the tackle position in a long time.
Well, I think people are going to look at this and they're going to say, did he have a bad day? You know, he's also a young kid. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. He wants to do well. Sometimes you just don't do well under pressure. That's what these scouts are going to look at. But then they're going to say, hey, was it a bad day, or is this who he is?
Quick question. Does your instinct tell you from what you've seen on tape, where this kid was an All-American and projected first rounder, does the tape hold up and overwhelm what you're seeing here today?
I've seen it on both sides of it. In the draft room, I've seen guys celebrate and say, we're going to get a steal. This guy's going to drop. And I've seen other people say, hey, we're too high on this guy. We got a low one.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting comparison for him because you see everything else. Now let's go to the Division II guy, Alex Cappa from Humboldt State. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. Now we're seeing him here at the Combine.
And movement's not going to be his thing. He's not going to wow you with his movement. He's not the greatest athlete. His game is all about physicality, moving people in the run game, being a finisher. But I thought overall the field workout was solid. I thought he did a nice job. He's never going to be best in show in these types of drills, but I thought he was more than serviceable.
he moved up on the charts, unlike Brown, who moved down on the charts. This is what this is about. You either go up or down, and this is a guy that took an opportunity. He seized the moment, and I believe that he's gonna move up on some people's board, and when they draft him, they're gonna be shocked.
Yeah, he may not be best in show, but he is pretty darn good in pads. And how about Desmond Harrison? This guy we talked about all morning, who's been a number of different places, 3 different colleges, can't really find a niche at the University of West Georgia after being at Texas. But boy, he showed out as an athlete today, didn't he?
Didn't look like offensive lineman. It looked like a tight end. It absolutely looked like a tight end workout. Very easy and explosive. You can see the twitch in him when he gets up and gets moving, Steve. I wish he was a little bit stronger. I wish he was more consistent when you study him. You got to sort through the off-the-field stuff, but movement-wise, you're not going to see it any better than that.
Yes, you're not. So what you're looking at this young man, you say athletically he's great. You got to put him in a great organization with a good support system, and then you really have to have a good offense that can allow him to display what he does well, his athleticism. If you're asking him to be a hog molly, a guy that's going to finish you, that's not going down his alley.
Look at you. You've been hanging out with Dave Gettleman, the GM of the New York Giants, right? Hog mollies. That's one of the best ones out there.
I play football a little bit and watch the combine. I think I can, and I have a dictionary too.
You do.
I think I can figure it out.
You get a thesaurus, and this is one of the guys that you like a lot. Hernandez out of UTEP, Steve.
Oh my goodness, his story is unbelievable, but just what he brings to the table. You know, Mike Mayock said he reminds him of Richie Cognito. Nothing against that. I think he's a better player than Richie Cognito. So the guy I like to look at him as Marshall Yonder. Nasty, tough, fundamentally sound, and just going to finish you all the time, every day.
Yeah, I was in Baltimore when we drafted Yanda, and I see a lot of similarities there. This is a darn good football player. What you don't see in the workout, though, he's always looking for work. If he's uncovered and you're a defensive lineman, you better get your head on a swivel.
Yeah, and we did talk a little bit. I heard Mike and Rich talk about, remember, we saw him at the Senior Bowl, 340 pounds. He's here at 327, which is not unusual because guys get smaller to run faster. He can still move people at that. And you look at all the height, weight comparisons, and you're seeing the numbers from these guys. Orlando Brown going to get a lot of attention because his numbers are not terrific. The big thing's going to be, what do you think on tape, and can you develop him?
No, that's a challenge. One guy we didn't show there, though, Austin Corbett from Nevada, I thought had an outstanding day running. You watch him go through the drills. He was a second-round pick coming in here. I think he'll get some consideration in the first round.
All these guys are doing a great job. The guys that you expect to show out did not. And that's going to be a key factor in what's going to happen once the draft comes, because if you don't step up, you can't get paid and you can't expect to rise into the draft or on your team, because they're going to look at you and they're going to say, hey, he's a lazy guy. He doesn't like doing this. He doesn't like doing that. So that's going to be a negative going into camp, and they're going to tell all the veterans, "Hey, watch this young man."
Yeah, well, the one thing we've done is that we've enjoyed watching these guys work out already. But there's still plenty of guys left to come.
We got some
big-time guys coming up. How about Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame? How about that big man? He's going to be working out as we come up with the next group. The Mike McGlinchey,
325 pounds. He's got abs, Steve. The man has abs at 325.
He might be able. Don't care about your abs.
He might be able to wear this medium. Quentin Nelson, the Notre Dame All-American. He's ready to rock and roll. We'll see him soon.
Madison of Washington State. Cougar picked it up, put it down. A little bit slower this time. KJ Malone. 5.34 the first time. And he delivered 4 100ths of a second faster. Casey McDermott. 5.35 his first time. 4 100ths of a second better second time. These are all unofficial. We'll get the official times once this is all over. Colton Miller ran a sub 4.5, first to do so in Group 2. He almost ran 4.9 flat.
That's a 6'9" guy running 4.9.
Okorafor 5.32 first time. Almost the same thing, but a little bit better. Brian O'Neill 4.8 flat, fastest time we timed at this group.
Looks like a tight end, doesn't he? Looks like a big tight end.
4.82 there.
Wow, it's smooth.
Well done. And then Brandon Parker. Again, both McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson both Notre Damers, Golden Domers, not taking part in the 40 today. Joseph Noteboom declined to run a second. Said he will try and go through the drills, so we're hoping for his sake it's not something that he heard. But again, anybody who runs here slowly or not as well as they had hoped, there's always that pro day.
And that's why I tell kids to run here. When the agents or kids ask me, I'm like, hey, get 2 bites at the apple instead of 1. And if you run a good 40 here, you don't ever have to run a 40 again. Go to your pro day and just do position drills.
Question buried.
He's a very grabby guy in his pass protection. I think he's got some balance issues also.
I just find that interesting that Daniel Jeremiah said he's one of the most interviewed offensive linemen because everybody's trying to get as much intelligence on Josh Rosen as they possibly can get. What's he like in the huddle? What's he like in the locker room? And that's one of the questions we're going to hit as we see Will Richardson here. We're going to hit that question tomorrow. That Josh Rosen, the question about him is the dreaded how much does he really want it? How much does he really love football? That's the question people have about him based on, by all accounts, what he was like as a 16 or a 17-year-old.
I think there's more than that, though. I think there's some issues on the field. I've never met the kid, so it's hard to talk about the other stuff. I've got some concerns on the field.
We'll obviously hit that more in depth tomorrow when he's out there. The only quarterback that we've heard that is not going to spin it who is here is Sam Darnold, who is expected to be, I mean, I can couch it as much as I possibly can, expected to be the front runner as the first overall selection in this draft.
You are a wordsmith.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ifs and buts and candies and nuts. Greg Senat.
This kid grew up in the same area, 3 miles away from Stony Brook tackle Timon Paris, and they never even heard of each other.
No kidding.
Because Senat was a hoops player, Paris was a football player. They went to 2 different high schools 3 miles apart and never met till this week.
Senat of Wagner, or as we call it on Staten Island, in my hometown, Wagner. Wagner College.
How'd you ever get out of the hard scrabble streets of
the mean streets of Staten Island?
Of Staten Island.
I took a Honda across the Verrazano Bridge over the Goethals Bridge and kept going.
Okay, you're going to take that literally, huh?
I did. Yeah. I mean, if you really must know how I actually did leave it.
I got you.
It's a great place to grow up. Great place to call a hometown.
Shelton's a good football player. I watched him against Colorado. He pulled on a sweep. He looked a little bit like Jason Kelsey, that tape we showed earlier, and he actually blocked 3 people on a 12-yard gain. It was a sweet play to pull off the tape and enjoy.
Rich, inquiring minds want to know if they had Easy Pass back then.
They did not, sir.
You were in the cash lane.
Everybody was.
Well, I mean, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's free to go into Jersey. I'm trying to remember.
Taking a shot at Jersey.
I am not. I'm not. Exit 13 on the turnpike, or exit 10 for the outer bridge.
Watch out. Sean O'Hara's down there, my brother.
The outer bridge. 5.26 for Braden Smith.
Braden Smith, he 40 consecutive starts. I think he's a starter as an NFL guard. He can bend. He's powerful. His tape was a little bit inconsistent.
He put together though.
Yeah,
just watching him walk around, and really for a lot of these coaches, this is the first time they're seeing a lot of these guys in person for the first time. So the 40, this is great, obviously, just to kind of see the guys move around, but you really just see body types. Braden, I mean, man, he looks phenomenal.
Yep.
I'll tell you, Colton Miller looks pretty athletic. Brian O'Neill, you were talking about him. He looks like Taylor Lewan.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball, Sean. Ready for the curve?
Let's do it.
All right, as we watch Wyatt Teller.
Great name, by the way.
Okay. We just saw someone from Ole Miss run. What do you think the Giants are going to do with their Ole Miss quarterback? What do you think?
Oh, Eli's going to spin it this year.
You think?
I mean, they just got to get some hogs up in front. You've heard David Gettleman talk about the hog mollies.
Right.
Got to find a way to protect him, give him a clean pocket. How about a more consistent run game, too? So, I think Eli's ready to rip and tear.
I know what he's ready to do. What are the Giants going to do, do you think?
I mean, if I know Gettleman like I think I do,
yes.
I think they're going with Big Q or slide back and accumulate. Use it as currency.
Big Q being Saquon Barkley.
No, Quentin Nelson.
Oh, okay.
I see you, Rich.
No, seriously, though. I mean, there's a Q in Saquon.
He's talking about hog mollies. He's talking about Quentin.
I think. Listen, we're talking.
I'm telling you this right now, Sean O'Hara.
Quentin Nelson to me is slam dunk.
I hear you, but there is a fan base there in the New York metropolitan area that's looking at this guy. I know they're not picking, but if they go with a guard when there's somebody as dynamic for this man's offense sitting on the board like Saquon Barkley, there will be some explaining to do. There will be.
All you got to do is win.
I know that. I get it. But not many people are sitting there in MetLife staring at the line play. With all due respect. But that might be the smart play. That might be the long-term play.
I don't think it was very respectful, with all due respect.
To who?
I think all Sean's saying, and we're talking about quarterbacks, we're talking about Barkley at number 2, and I think he's saying he's in the conversation. And I believe in that building he has to be.
Well, here's the thing about Quentin. I mean, the on-the-field product, you know what you're getting with that guy. You're not going to swing and miss with him. He's an all-pro. He's going to play 10, 12 years. But he's also the guy that you need in the locker room and in the O-line room. He's a culture-changing kid. He's from Jersey. I mean, that just adds to the story. But
I hear you.
That's what they really need, and that's what they're trying to do in that building right now, change the culture.
We could take that entire statement you just said, print it out, remove the word line room, and put running back room in there, and you could say the same thing about Saquon Barkley, about changing the culture, being a good kid, being somebody that can change in the building.
If they
wow, I mean Saquon, and that's Odell out there and Saquon behind.
But just to underscore what Sean's trying to say, and I'm not saying it's got to be Quentin Nelson. What I'm saying is, if they don't fix the offensive line, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback, running back, or wide receiver.
It's Connor Williams to finish up the 40-yard dashes for the offensive line group at the 2018 Scouting Combine. Now they're going to head on out there on the field, okay? And then the running backs will have at it after the on-field drills. But when we come back, we will see those on-field drills. There are the running backs in waiting. And as we go to break, I do believe we have a simulcam. Brian O'Neill against Winston and Goff. So our fastest timed offensive lineman against the starting quarterbacks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams. And according to our simulcam, the O-lineman is quicker.
No, Oni. Pride of Salesianum High School.
All right, welcome back to Indianapolis to the 2018 NFL Scouting Combine. And let me tell you something, we are having a ball already here today. The offensive linemen, they've concluded their on-field drills. I'm Charles Davis, Steve Smith Sr., Daniel Jeremiah. Guys, we saw some pretty impressive people out there today. The second group is now done. We say we take a look at a few highlights of what we've seen here in the second group of linemen. Start with Mike McGlinchey of Notre Dame.
And we talked about the fact this second group was a little more loaded than that first group. McGlinchey did not run the 40. I thought he had a solid workout, put it in the special category, but a solid day overall for the big Notre Dame offensive tackle.
He didn't screw anything up. He just did exactly what you expect him to do, is just technically sound and just did his job.
Meat and potatoes player and meat and potatoes workout.
Yeah, meat and potatoes workout will probably translate into a first-round selection for him. How about Colton Miller from UCLA, Steve?
Colton Miller, his tape he's so inconsistent. You don't know what he can do. Then he does some great things, then he misses some blocks. So You know, you obviously can tell by his physique, he is a gifted athlete. He's tall, lean, strong. But even just on that hitting that bag right there, his head's down. You always got to, when you're hitting, engaging, you always got to see what you're hitting. His head being down, so that's technically not sound, kind of like his tape, up and down.
Yeah, he started off slow. Texas A&M was a bad game for him. I thought he got better throughout the year, and I thought he had a really good workout today. So at least he's trending in the right direction.
And there will be offensive line coaches who can't wait to get him and think that they will coach him up with that athletic ability. And here's the headliner, Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame.
Yeah, look, he did not run because he had a little bit of a hamstring, I believe. But getting out here on the workout is what you expected when you watch him on tape. He's solid across the board. I thought he's a little underrated in terms of his quickness. He's not an elite-level athlete. I don't think he could kick out the tackle. Some folks believe he could. But I think he's a day one starting guard. He's got a chance to be a Pro Bowler very early in his career. A solid workout.
Man, he's going to be what he is. He's a blue-collar worker. He's going to be a team that he's going to be a person that goes on your team. He's going to give you everything he has. But the question is going to be, when he gets to a team, say in the AFC North, he better be able to bring his lunchbox every week and every practice because they're going to try him.
And that's what he's counting on, and he wants to be that blue-collar guy. How about one of the better athletes we've seen at offensive tackle, Brian O'Neill from Pitt?
We predicted it before the day he was going to roll, and that's exactly what he did. Just an easy, fluid mover. Posted a great 40 time, then you get out in the field workout. Guys, he moves around like a tight end. He's just very, very smooth and natural. He touched on it throughout the workout. Just needs to add some core strength. That's what his challenge is going forward. But watching a guy move at the tackle position, that's what you want it to look like.
Watching his film, he looked great. But the only question I have, is he able to be effective in the run game? All you saw film, him sitting pass setting the whole time, 97% of the time pass setting. I want to see how he does in the run game, and you'll see it once he gets into someone's training camp to see how well he transitions into the run game.
So what you're saying, Steve, is with that lunchbox, he wants to eat whatever's in it and give himself a little more heft. Here's Connor Williams from the University of Texas, who was highly regarded coming into the season.
He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he was technically sound. He's worked his weight in gold. You can't go wrong by getting him. What you see is what you get. He smiled. He looks great.
He, to me, was the best offensive tackle coming in here this week. I had him as the number one tackle, and I think he leads here as the number one tackle.
Quick question, though. Would he kick inside the guard for some people?
Some people
that in there?
Because the arm length is not excellent, and because he came in under 300 pounds, some people see him as an athletic guard. I still like him as a tackle.
You see, I think he came here wanting to prove he can play tackle and be that tackle, and also show people how highly regarded he was prior to the season. Remember, he was dinged up a little bit last year and didn't get to play to his full potential. Sean O'Hara, you've watched all of these guys. You're our all-pro lineman. What have you seen so far today?
Well, I see a damn good-looking three-piece suit by my man CD. That's what I see right there. A lot of really good athletes today showed up, and you guys are talking about O'Neill and Colton Miller really showed athleticism. Connor Williams showed some of that. That's really what the Combine is. If you're a great athlete, you're going to have a great day here, and you're going to get to showcase your skills. If you're not a great athlete but a great football player, you might leave here with some question marks. But I thought with that group, you guys just showed some of those guys. Connor Williams kind of got left because he was the last guy to go. We didn't really talk about him enough, but he looked so good today. Colton Miller certainly helped his cause. He looked so fluid. O'Neill, man, I think his stock is on the rise with how athletic he looked. I thought McGlinchey and Quentin Nelson really showed everybody they are who we thought they were. McGlinchey didn't do a whole lot. He even pulled out of some of the drills later on, so he's just being cautious. He's earned that right. I don't think anybody's worried about him. Big Quentin Nelson, he's fun to watch on film. You love what you see on film. This just solidified everything you think about. From the first group earlier today, I thought Will Hernandez did a really good job kind of checking the boxes and letting everybody know who he is, who we thought he was. But I really thought James Daniels, even though he didn't run in the 40, I thought James Daniels was phenomenal in the drills, really helped his stock out, and he's a young kid, so he's got a lot of room for improvement. So a lot of fun stuff down here. You know, I think the one probably biggest question coming out of this whole big group, the big boys, is Orlando Brown. The question really is going to come from, what do you put more value in? Do you put more value in the butt kicking he was giving out on the field with the pads on, or do you put more value in a big guy like that trying to be athletic? I think that's kind of what they're going to be asking him next time they get a chance to interview him.
Yeah, a lot of questions for Orlando Brown and so many others. Sean O'Hara, we thank you. No one breaks down offensive linemen like you do. We appreciate your time, and especially you playing a little bit hurt out there today. People didn't know it. You gutted it out. We appreciate that, Sean.
Hey, thanks for not asking me to hit anything. And I just got one last question, CD. You got the mushroom belt, too? Man, you are coordinated.
We coordinate. Appreciate it, Sean. You take care. We'll talk to you down the road. Guys, we get a transition now because we're going to be talking about running backs. And there's one headliner that we're definitely going to be talking about throughout our time, and that's one Saquon Barkley from Penn State. And I think he's already starting to put on a show before we even got the cameras on him.
I don't know if he's landed yet.
Yeah, we're talking about the vertical jump. Here it is.
It's still soaring here.
All right, Saquon Barkley, here is his vertical jump. Let's see if he did land yet. How about 41 inches, guys?
At 230-plus pounds.
All right, 233 pounds, 41-inch vertical.
10 and a
right?
half.
Yep. What is 29 on the bench press?
41. You know what that is? That's a creative player on Madden. That's what that is.
It certainly is. And we see, look at the best vertical jump since 2003. Saquon Barkley checks in with 41 inches. Look at some of the names ahead of him. Kristen Michael, strong, powerful guy. Amir Abdullah still in the league with the Lions. But Saquon Barkley about to make his own way here, the big running back from Penn State.
Tell you what, when you look at what he did in the bench, what he did in the vertical, I expect him to run extremely fast. That's all impressive. But trust me, when he's done working out, we'll be talking more about what he does in the pass-catching drills than any of that stuff. That's what makes him unique. At that size, what he can do running routes and catching the football is a special dude.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about him because he's already shown why he deserves to be here. But there's two guys that I'm interested to see how well they do is Royce Freeman from Oregon and then Ronald Jones II from USC. We already know what Saquon is. He's the Quan. He's the guy. But now can the other guys step up and show, hey, I possibly can be up there with him, and I can do some things. Just give me an opportunity. But the Quan is the Quan.
And you picked two guys with different styles. Royce Freeman, big old guy. Yep. Talk about Ronald Jones, a little more flash in there. DJ, you got to see them both as well. What do you think?
Well, look, there's a lot of good running backs on the West Coast this year. There's also a lot of good running backs in the Georgia backfield. When you look at Sony Michel and Nick Chubb, watching those guys work out is going to be fun. To me, the one name, though, I think we might be buzzing a little bit about. Remember at the Senior Bowl we saw Kalen Ballage from Arizona State? Didn't get as many touches as we wanted as we look at some. Oh, look, TD.
Look at that.
And that is Georgia through and through. Remember, TD started his career at Long Beach State, transferred to Georgia. And look at these guys trying to follow in the footsteps of our Hall of Famer, Terrell Davis. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. He called the best backfield combo in college football. Hard to argue.
Yeah, no question. Real quick, though, Kalen Ballage, Arizona State. He is big and he is fast, and we will see it today.
And he's going to light up this. He's going to light up this combine. There's no doubt about it. But it's still to come. The running backs are going to be on the field. We'll get a look at Saquon Barkley and all the rest of his running back mates.
The man with the number 1 overall pick, looking through the binoculars at the running back group that is still going through the instructions at the start of the 40-yard dash line. There's John Dorsey. He's got 1 and 4, I might add. And then there, the New York Giants sitting at number 2, Pat Shurmur, getting set to watch this running backs group. Pat Shurmur saw what Dalvin Cook was able to do before he unfortunately suffered a season-ending knee injury. In the offense he was coordinating for the Minnesota Vikings. Here we go. There's Saquon Barkley breaking it down along with first one up on the lines. It's Kalen Ballage of Arizona State.
He's really interesting, Rich, because he's a bit of an enigma. He had 8 touchdowns against Texas Tech in 16, yet lost his starting job this past year. There's Dave Gettleman. We talked about the general manager of the Giants with the 2nd overall pick. But this Ballage is a height, weight, speed freak. He's probably going to run sub 4.5. He weighed in at 228. He lost his starting job this year. I didn't see the contact balance. He went down too easily, but he's going to entice people. He's a conversation of production versus potential.
Gorsuch is directing traffic of people taking pictures or trying to do their job.
He had a good Senior Bowl week, but I thought underperformed based on his ability.
Move down this way.
And then comes Saquon Barkley with Nick Chubb right behind him. 2 of the best we saw on Saturdays and Saturday nights on the college gridiron. mean, that Iowa tape you were talking about with Saquon Barkley, 211 yards on the ground, 12 catches, 94 in the air.
40 touches for 305.
And they needed every last one of it to escape.
Right. 21-19 win.
Last second.
It was a great game. Great game. But the thing I love about Barkley is you watch the Indiana tape, he only had 50-some yards. I think it was 20 carries for 56 yards, but still dominated the football game with kick returns, with catching the football, with pass protections. He's a complete back.
You think the NFL will put him in kick returns if he's so valuable? Top of the draft?
I don't know if I would. No,
right.
I think you can find touches without having to expose them to that.
All right, first running back 40 of 2018 Combine. 4.46.
He just said he's going to be a sub 4.5 guy, 228 pounds. That's fast.
Now, what would you say would be a good time for Barkley? What do you...
Barkley.
Well, they're talking about is he going to run sub 4.4.
Right.
At 233 pounds, I think anything 4.45 or lower is outstanding. Top level. If he goes under 4.4, we go back to Rick James.
I think you're about to, quite frankly.
Remember your lead foot got to be behind this line right here.
Come on, Gorse, don't make him think too much now.
Yeah, you could toe it all the way up to right here. Okay?
They used to get coached by someone from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. That's your lead foot. Okay? No. Yes, that's what we call your lead foot because it's first. Okay, cool.
First team All-American. Mr. Football in Pennsylvania in 2014. Saquon Barkley at a 2018 scouting combine getting set to run his first 40.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
He can run through you. He can run by you. He can jump over you. It's going to be a matchup nightmare for some linebackers that find having to mark him on a Sunday, Thursday night, Monday night.
And the only issue, here comes Chubb.
There's Chubb from Georgia. Best from the SEC.
I think he's one of the toughest players of any position in this draft.
4.53.
Really solid for him. 29 reps at 2 1/4, then a 4.53.
2 scores in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma. That was an incredible game, too.
Now, it was interesting because his Oklahoma game was huge, but against Alabama, he struggled, yet Sony Michel averaged 8 yards a carry against Alabama. Really, that Bama tape I thought was interesting for both Chubb and for Sony Michel. But 4.53 at 227 pounds is outstanding. It doesn't look that way because he's behind Barkley.
All right. Pac-12 now on the line. Levon Coleman.
Strong lower body. Now, he was listed at 235 pounds at Washington. He weighed in at 215.
4.66.
Yeah, I mean, he's quicker than he is fast. You can see it on tape. He doesn't have any long speed, but very quick in the hole.
Justin Crawford, West Virginia up now.
Junior college transfer. Had 2 big years at West Virginia, both over 1,000 yards. Only had 8 catches. What's going to be important for him today, Rich, is to catch the football here and at his pro day. I didn't think he came out particularly well, and no.
4.65. Let's get another run coming. Obviously one at his pro day as well. And we got a Fordham Ram at the line now, Mike.
He's interesting, by the way. I mean, Chase Edmonds was recruited to Fordham by Coach Joe Moorhead, who then went to coach Barkley at Penn State. Became the running backs coach at Penn State, and then went to Mississippi State this year to become their head coach this coming season. So he was coached by Joe Moorhead. He's quick, catches the ball well, about as quick laterally as anybody in this draft. He's almost the same height and weight as James White, which I think is a really good comp for him. 5'9", 204, and he just ran the exact time that James White did. So talk about a comp for Chase Edmonds. Same height, weight, and 40 time.
So we'll see him scoring overtime in the Super Bowl one day is what you're saying.
I wouldn't discount that.
Right. Okay, so now on the line right now is Donnie Ernsberger out of Western Michigan.
He's really a fullback / H-back candidate, 241 pounds.
You saw he was listed as TE9. He's going to do alternate drills at tight end tomorrow, so he's one of the few running backs that are, unless he's going to do the drills later after this. We'll see. At any rate, Oklahoma Sooner Dimitri Flowers on the line here, Charles Davis.
Yeah, and the only reason I wanted to talk about him is we heard John Gruden wanting to go back to 1998 in old school football. This is an old school football player. He's a fullback, which you don't see much of in college football, but he also can get out of the backfield and catch the ball as well. So when you're looking for those Tommy Bohannon types and Patrick DeMarco types, this kid might check that box.
Yeah, Charles, I think he's versatile.
No longer, D.
At 248 pounds and catches the ball. I think that the true fullback in this draft is Nick Baldwin from San Diego State, and he did not run the 40 because of a medical exclusion. But if you're looking for a hammer, somebody that's just going to knock linebackers and defensive ends on their backs, it's Baldwin. This kid's a better athlete, though.
Yeah, he's the one who gets out in the space and catches the football. And you know, Mike, he also had that one game where they made him the lead running back, and he ran it really well and had no other carries the rest of the year. They only handed it to him that one time when all the other backs were dinged up.
This Flowers kid against Oklahoma State, Charles.
You see the movie put on his cousin?
His cousin, Trey Flowers, for a 49-yard touchdown.
He catches out in open space, jukes him, and runs away from him.
He killed his cousin in open space.
You know, it made the Thanksgiving weekend a little difficult.
That was funny.
483. Here's another Western Michigan Bronco, Jarvian Franklin.
Really good production last 2 years, an all-MAC running back.
Say that about the entire team.
Right. Yep. 239 pounds.
Obviously, the clock started soon, so we'll get...
That almost looked like your time.
6'5". Come on now.
Back in the day when Bill Polian was shooting you in the hamstring.
Yeah, right, yeah. Back in the day. All right, so 4:63 was our manual time. Is that Charlie Casserly doing a manual time for us?
Has to be. Hey, get the clock on him. It's 4:63, okay? Hey.
It's Royce Freeman of Oregon. Steve Smith, part of our broadcast team all day. Steve?
Man, I love Royce Freeman. He's a battering ram. He's a kind of just a guy, a bull in a china cabinet. You know, he's going to destroy all of the good china. He's going to run you over. I've seen him run over linebackers, safeties. He's made corners second guess, make financial decisions on not trying to tackle him. So he's a guy that he adds extra value to your backfield as soon as you get him.
So you have no concern, Steve, like you talked about the Oregon spread attack as you did with Crosby, the tackle. He'll translate okay in the NFL?
He'll translate because even though he's sitting in a shotgun position, he's still running hard down the field, kind of like a Jonathan Stewart. You don't have to teach him how to run. He's not a guy that's going to step out of bounds. He's going to play football.
And guys with a 4.49 right there.
224 pounds. Talk about a north-south punishing runner. There's another one right there in Geis. And these running backs, DJ, are flying, man.
Yeah, this is a great group of running backs. I think Geis is right in the mix to be the number 2 back in this draft. Didn't hurt himself at all with that 40.
Here's Kyle Hicks of TCU. And as Steve was mentioning business decisions, Bo Scarborough is further on down the line here.
Well,
he said coming into this draft, he wants to model his game a little after LeGarrette Blount.
Well,
not a bad idea.
We'll have that conversation about Bo later, but This guy, Hines, is a track runner,
Okay.
At North Carolina State football and track. He's the 4x100 guy, the leadoff runner, 100-meter guy, 60-meter. His twin sister, Naya, is a hurdler at NC State. So he expects to run fast here.
A little longer. Just a little bit longer. That's all.
What I
Three
like
good
about
counts.
him
You
is
got it in you, man.
he's also a return specialist. Kickoff return guy, 2 touchdowns. He only had 12 punt returns in his career at NC State, yet he took 1 back for a touchdown. So 3 return touchdowns. He said his goal is to run below 4.33.
That's it. That's it.
I loved his comment. He said, the combine is just a big track meet for me.
There he goes. 3.9.
There we go. Leader in the clubhouse.
2/100 of a second better than Saquon Barkley. So Nyheim Hines of NC State.
But keep in mind, he's running at 198
I know.
pounds.
I mean, look.
That's 35-pound differential.
Mike, he plays in the slot too. So you see him run routes, you see fly sweeps. He's got some versatility.
Justin Jackson of the Northwestern University.
This young man, 4 consecutive years over 1,000 yards rushing in the Big
a
Ten.
little longer because you got that hand switching around up there.
When he
I'm not
didn't,
sure,
there's Pete Carroll. When his
Freeze
offensive
everything.
line
Get your
typically
hand up
didn't have
there,
the
get
same
straight
level
out.
of talent as some of the people they
Appreciate you.
played against, he catches the ball well. I remember it was a catch, I think, in overtime or setting up. I think it was in overtime against Iowa. Made a catch and ran it about 23 yards down to the 1-yard line to win the game for them. He's got a little something to him. He's probably not going to run a great number, but I really like the football player.
It's Jackson. 4.5.
That's actually a good number for him.
We saw John Schneider, the general manager of the Seahawks, looking through the binoculars. Their quarterback was in pinstripes all week.
That's right, Yankees.
Did you see him go yard in batting practice?
They don't throw curveballs in batting practice.
No, they don't. I know.
A great equalizer.
Yeah, he had some pop, though. He did have some pop.
Ronald Jones, another track guy, folks. USC track in spring of 16. He ran a 10.37 100 meters in high school.
That's your guy. Is number 3 on the draft board and running back behind Barkley and Geis.
Ooh, I thought something happened there.
Yep. 4.66.
About 20 yards down the road there, something happened.
And a red shirt's going to walk over to him.
Yeah. I mean, he's a 4.4 or better guy.
That's tough for Ronald Jones, you guys, because, man, I thought he might go under 4.4.
Well, look, he
right there. Yeah,
pulled up
through.
Pulled up twice, I thought, DJ. That is a shame.
I was looking forward to watching him go through the whole workout today.
Yeah, I want to see him catch the ball. He only had 14 catches this year, 11 the year before, 7. What he's got to do is show people he can run routes and catch a football.
Okay, here's one of the more dynamic players we saw in collegiate football this past year.
Okay, I know you're going to be fast.
Sony Michel.
3 good counts for us, please.
What a backfield when Todd Gurley was there, huh?
You want to see the kid they had as a freshman this year from Philly, number 7, Swift. Ooh.
By the way, good name for a running back.
No doubt. It's redundant in his case.
Those 4.58 for Sony Michel.
So my comp for him was Kamara, who is the same size, the same weight, 214 pounds. Kamara ran 4.56 at the combine a year ago. Burst and acceleration, they both have that in spades. Contact balance, it's amazing how tough they run for their size. And despite the 4.56, 4.58, they're both home run hitters. They play faster than they time. The challenge for Sony Michel is to show that he can be the same type of pass receiver as Kamara, because I'm not sure he's shown that yet.
More 40s from the running back group when we return to Indianapolis.
Good start with these backs, man.
the 40, presented by Old Spice. Some running backs that ran while we were gone. Ryan Nall, Oregon State.
Fourth-year junior. As a true freshman, they thought he was going to be a tight end or H-back, but they had injuries, so they put him in at running back. He had 174 yards against the arch-rival Oregon and became a running back for the rest of his career.
Rashad Penny.
This is an important one at 220 pounds.
4.47.
Yeah, I might be a little low on him. He's a really good football player.
Cameron Petway, who SEC fans are familiar with.
Petway hurt his shoulder this year, didn't play as much, and of course, Kerryon Johnson got the majority of carries. 4.75 at 233 pounds. This is the kid that took the starting job away from Kalen Ballage at Arizona State. A little bit of a bowling ball. People tend to bounce off that big lower body of his.
Well, if he's a bowling ball, then what's Bo Scarborough?
Bo Scarborough's a long, there's a lot of body surface to hit. He's an upright runner, 4.61. People try to compare him to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's 15 pounds heavier and runs a lot faster.
Rock Thomas, Jacksonville State.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Auburn. Spent 2 years at Auburn, but remember, there was Petway and Kerryon Johnson. He went to Jacksonville State, became the OVC Offensive Player of the Year. There's Harps.
I don't care if you jerk up.
Well, the running back position was somewhat unsettled in Baltimore until Alex Collins settled it. And he appears to be the man there, one would think, moving forward.
Really nice season.
Again, at 4:30 Eastern Time is when Lamar Jackson's going to get up there and talk. And the reason why we bring him up as the first story of the day is Peter Schrager broke that teams want to see him work out at wide receiver. The reason why I bring that up now is Rock Thomas runs. We were just talking about Baltimore. Ozzie Newsome said that Lamar Jackson's a quarterback on their draft board. So
he's a quarterback on my draft board, and if I am
RB27,
Mr. Jackson, I would politely decline. I'm a quarterback, folks.
Well, I would impolitely decline. I would just tell them to stop. Just end it. Just end this conversation here. End it. Maybe you should just bring his Heisman Trophy and slap it on the table.
The guy's a quarterback, and he might be a first-round quarterback if somebody commits philosophically to who he is. I mean, this is a special cat. I've talked. Speaking of special cats,
Dan Marino.
He gets upset whenever we show that interception I had him.
Relax, take your time. We'll get it right. Okay?
Well, you did high point it, man, back in the day and back in college when you were wearing that half shirt.
Adam Gase stopped me last year at the Combine, walking back to the hotel. He said, Mike, you can't show that interception enough because it pisses off Marino. Marino came up to me before a Thursday night game. He's like, Mike, is that the only interception you ever freaking had?
Akram Wadley.
Wadley's a good back from Iowa. That Penn State game, he had 19 carries for 80, 4 receptions for 75. He also took a bad safety and had a bad fumble. But he's a tough kid. Really tough kid.
Is Marino the only Hall of Famer you've picked off, though?
I got Elway.
You got Elway once,
I don't have the video of that, unfortunately. But we upset Elway in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts one night. It was kind of fun.
Mark Walton from the U.
I like this young man. Had ankle surgery in November, cut his Miami season short. He's quick. He can run.
All right, Dan. Avert your eyes.
It bothers Dan. Sorry, Dan.
Look at you high pointed, though, man.
Dude, catch the ball.
Give me the half shirt. Uh-oh. Let's see if because it's on delay. Let's see.
He's like, no, man.
That is fantastic. it just shows off again the competitive side.
I mean, we're like 90 years old.
It's great, man. And it'll never end. You'll always have that. You pick it off every time, Mike. Every time you pick it off.
Oh, yeah.
4-7 flat for Chris Warren there. And now the last running back to run at 40 before they run it back again.
I give this young man a lot of credit here, Darrell Williams. And he was the LSU MVP this year, despite the fact that Darius Geis was their starter. Fournette a year ago, Geis. This young man's going to play in the NFL. 225-pound tailback, had a good Senior Bowl.
Okay, so Hines of NC State had just, I guess, soaking wet 200 pounds, right?
Yep.
Ran a 4.39. Saquon Barkley at 233 ran a 4.41. Charlie Casserly, who's doing our hand time, tweeted out he had Barkley on his hand at 4.28. Right? Just nutty. Here we go now. Here's Ballage again. Second run of the running back group.
Keep in mind, he ran 4.46 at 228 pounds, which is why I told you he's a height, weight, speed freak. He just, from my perspective, he's got to be stronger and more consistent. Got replaced by Demario Richard during the season.
4.57.
That doesn't, that doesn't make sense.
Okay. Well, sometimes it doesn't. Just for a reason. We'll find out. Okay, here we go again.
Yeah, you can't be on the block. Lead toe can't be on the black. If you want to move it back someplace on the black line, I'm cool. As long as your hand's someplace on this black line, I'm cool.
Run number 2 for Saquon Barkley.
So I'm going to tell you, I know you love John Ross and the 4.22 and the 4.24 and all that stuff. Him running 4.4 at 2.33 to me is way more impressive than John Ross's 4.22. And if Vita Vea runs 4.85 at 3.45, I'll tell you that's more impressive. It's all a matter of...
Look, I mean, as we've got Chubb here, look, I mean, the eye in the sky certainly does not lie, as we all know, right?
Right.
Your arm went back.
29 reps, 225, 41.
Your arm went back and you took off.
Again, last year, the only player at the Combine with 25 or more reps or 40 or more inches.
As soon as your offhand goes back,
Myles Garrett, the number 1 overall.
Then get off.
And now at 6'2", 233, he runs a 4.4 almost flat. We'll get the official number. I mean, and that's all before he goes out there and shows out on the field, which you know he's going to look terrific at. And as you mentioned, clean off the field. Anybody who
you're not
meets
holding
him
it for 3 counts.
He's head over heels. He's not going to do something stupid. You're a coach that knows that you're putting your head in the pillow at night. You're an owner or a general manager. Put your head in the pillow.
I know you're fast. Okay.
The last 4 top 10 running backs picked: Fournette, Zeke Elliott, Christian McCaffrey, and Todd Gurley. All 4 of those guys in the top 10 have made their teams better.
Chubb at 4.58. There you go. Okay. When we come back, maybe we'll show this one more time. This was him in real time. The international symbol of what gives. All right, welcome back to the Scouting Combine. Hey, Mike. Look what you got right there. You're a meat guy, right? You're a meat lover right there. What do you got there? Yeah, there we go, yeah. We want to welcome Pizza Hut as the newest member of the National Football League family. Your talkback button's being hit by the pizza. Now you can talk about your pizza. It's the new official pizza partner of the National Football League, everybody. Hey, now. Right there.
That's good stuff.
There we go. Here we go. Sony Michel, you're a big fan of this running back from Georgia, Michael.
Yeah, I really am, and he does remind me the quickness, the burst, the change of pace, the acceleration of Alvin Kamara. Look at that cut in the open field, and he's more physical than people think. I mean, that's what just strikes. His burst and acceleration, watch him make people miss in the open field. He's going to take away the angle of the linebacker. Now he's going to take away the angle of the safety. So forget 4.55 or whatever. He's as fast and as tough as he needs to be. Look at this. Leg drive, lower body strength. Play action. This is where he's got to show he can be special in the pass game. They didn't throw to him much, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. I saw so much Kamara in this kid, and I'm excited to watch him because I think he's going to be special.
Do you think he's going to be drafted higher than he would have if Kamara hadn't shown out like he did last?
You know, it's funny. Kamara went in the third round.
Yes.
I gave him the Green Bay in the first round in my mock draft. I mean, I thought he was just a flat-out first-round pick. But to answer your question, I think he's a borderline 1 right now, late 1 to mid 2. But he's a difference maker.
And on the field, as part of our crew, we're going to teardrop our way down to our correspondent, Pro Football Hall of Famer, LaDainian Tomlinson. How are you, LT?
Hey, good afternoon, man. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm in my element. I'll just say that.
How many drills could I get out of you right now? How many drills could I get out of you right now?
I can do everything but the 40. Everything but the 40. Yeah.
But the 40.
I mean, because what Saquon just done, I mean, he would make me look silly if I tried to run the 40 after that.
What was the last 40-yard dash you ran?
At the combine?
and LT, that's what I tell these kids all the time. If you run fast at the combine, you don't ever have to run again.
That is so true, Mike. Yep.
There you go. What do you think of Saquon, LT?
Well, I mean, he's a can't-miss prospect, guys, and I mean, who doesn't like a kid that can do everything? And you know me, I always talk about versatility from the running back's position, and Saquon can just simply do everything, and he adds another dimension if you want him to return kicks. Now, he's going to get drafted too high where you don't want him back there returning kicks, but let's just say you needed it at the end of a game, a la like the Minnesota Vikings used to do with Adrian Peterson his early years. You can do that with Saquon Barkley. But what I like also is he's going to protect your $1 million quarterback, or should I say your $50 million quarterback. He's going to step up and block. And also, catching the ball out the backfield is vital to the running back position. He does that well also.
I mean, he only had 15 kick returns in his career. He took 2 of them back for touchdowns. Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I mean, look. You just heard LT said protecting your quarterback.
Yep.
Again, if you were the Giants, and we're talking about protecting Eli, one way to protect him, give him a running game, give him someone who in the passing game can protect you. First up right here is Balaj out of Arizona State.
All right, here we go.
Give somebody a rock like this.
Running through trash. Nice move.
LT, his lower body, you know, he power cleans 405, but just his innate movement skills and strength with his lower body is what just, I think, separates him from everybody.
Mike, and to that point, the first time I met Saquon was about 3 weeks ago at the Pro Bowl, and he was just sitting out there, and I looked over, I said, that's Saquon Barkley. So I went over to say hi, and the first thing I looked at was his legs. I mean, that's the thing that stands out on this kid. I couldn't believe how big his legs were.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
They said, I think he's a guy that on the third day somebody's going to get a bargain. This kid, Ernsberger, we've got a great video we're going to show later of an overtime game that Western Michigan was involved in. It's worth a chuckle.
Now, I love this kid, Demetrius Flowers. I got a chance to see him a lot at Oklahoma, obviously playing in the Big 12. But I heard you guys talking about him earlier in running the 40s, and you're right, he's so versatile. He can do a little bit of everything. I think he can even detach a little bit out there at the tight end position and give you some added dimension that way.
No, they use him a little bit in the slot. You're 100% right. I mean, they had him at 248 pounds, and Mark Andrews, their other quote tight end, at 256 in the slot.
Here's Hicks. TCU's Hicks.
I was hoping Hicks ran faster. He didn't run too good.
I think he's quicker than he is fast, though.
That's correct. Yes.
You want to explain to those what you mean by that, Mike?
Yeah, fast means long speed, straight line. So you run 4.6, you're not very fast as a running back. However, you can be extremely quick, make people miss in short areas, and that's what he is. He's quick laterally, he's quick, but he's just not long, straight speed.
Absolutely. Great lateral movement.
Yep.
But if you ask him to go 30, 40 yards, he's probably going to get caught.
Not this guy.
Man.
This is the guy I like. Rashad Penny.
Penny? Yeah, Penny. He's really, at 220 pounds, hit 7 or 8 kickoff return touchdowns.
And see, that's the part, Mike, that I like the most, because day one, you can plug him back there at the kickoff return position and let him go.
Another guy here that's not real fast, long speed, but runs with a nasty edge. People bounce off of him, and he's got some innate quickness. Rich, here's your guy, Scarborough.
See, I would like to see him get a little bit lower running through that trash. Just a little bit too high right now.
And that's what he is. There's a lot of surface to hit. He's got an upright running style. Brock Thomas I like also, the Auburn transfer. He's got a little juice to him.
Didn't the Giants win Super Bowl in this building? Somebody ran up, right? Gave me a big surface to hit. Brandon Jacobs.
That's true.
I'm not saying the kid can't play. We're picking apart everybody. Matter of fact, if you want to pick apart Barkley, we haven't yet talked about anything he doesn't do well. I have one for you.
What do you have?
As the season progressed, I think Barkley got more and more frustrated as teams were setting up to stop him with 11 people, basically.
Right.
And if you watch the Ohio State tape, for instance, he had 10 negative yardage runs. Some of them were offensive line generated, but some of them where he was trying so hard to make a big play, he started bouncing and spinning out of everything. And you see -3, -5. And I think it was more frustration than anything else because he's trying to break a big one. And I think sometimes he's just got to drop a pad level and take +2 instead of -4.
Yeah.
Let's go. Y'all trying to make that money or what?
And that's hard for a young player to do. You kind of grow into that mindset as you get a little bit older and saying, hey, take 4 yards or take 3 yards and live for the next play instead of trying to make every play a big run.
Exactly. Now, that last drill we just saw, what's the practical application of that in the NFL? What are they really doing? Let's take a look at Kareem Hunt, last year's running back sensation and a third-round pick. Here he is a year ago at the Combine, coming through the bags. And watch the bag move to his left. He's going to come to his right around the cone. You can see the acceleration and the quickness for a big back. At the next level, outside zone. Watch that linebacker come downhill. He cuts away from him, now north-south, and finish with great contact balance. Again, there's jump cut, now get north and south. Make him miss. I'll tell you, his contact balance is unbelievable for Kareem Hunt. And here's Barkley. There's the cut to get north and south. And now we're going to have the lateral cut away from the bag. Look at the lower body, the legs, the bubble butt.
Now let's simulcam Saquon going to break with Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, and a guy who, as you know, I think should be his next teammate in Odell Beckham Jr. Let's see who wins this one.
They had to put Eli Manning in there, too.
And the winner is...
Wow.
Barkley. A lot of talk of Alvin Kamara watching these drills, and here's the guy that employed him expertly this year for the Saints.
They drafted him in the 3rd round, and I was with Sean Payton at the Michigan Pro Day last year, and I said, Coach, please tell me why people don't think Alvin Kamara is a first-round pick. I mean, I just think it's that obvious. And he said, Mike, with a little twinkle in his eye, please be assured if he would somehow fall to the Saints, I do have a plan for him.
Boy, did he ever.
They did a great job with their running backs.
And there are some who think he didn't use them enough, and those are just people that Alvin Kamara in their fantasy leagues, essentially. And with Mark Ingram as well. I mean, to work them in together, and it just proved unworkable with Adrian Peterson in that mix as well. But they signed Peterson before the draft. He had no idea that Kamara could fall to him, and whatever plan he had in his mind could be put into action.
And the amazing thing was that people were talking about how Drew Brees didn't have to have his numbers were down, and I was kind of like, don't worry. You know, when you need him, he'll be there. The fact that there's more balance is just going to help Drew Brees.
There are a couple of games like that, right? Yep. Where they needed Brees. That game where he outdueled, and this is the proper word, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins lit it up that game in the Dome, if you remember, against New Orleans. And New Orleans was down 2 scores. They got the defensive stop when Washington ran it 3 straight times, and that game was won with Brees winging it around and Kamara with a juggling catch to get into the end zone to win that game. As we now watch a wheel route about to go down here.
And again, this whole running back thing's important. Let's take a look at Christian McCaffrey. Just a year ago, became a top 10 pick by Carolina. Wheel route, flat and up. Ran 4.48, and he catches everything. This year, as a Carolina Panther, here comes the wheel route against the safety. Safety, watch 32, Vaccaro, bad eyes, Vaccaro. And there goes the slip. You're anticipating the bad eyes of the safety. He accelerates and makes the catch. And that is the role of today's running back in the NFL. LaDainian Tomlinson was at the forefront of that movement, and now it's really fun watching these guys produce immediately.
You want to turn up. You're going to catch this ball roughly about the 45-yard line, all right? Run and finish 15 yards after you catch the ball, all right? But we need to sell this thing and then turn and go.
McCaffrey had as good a workout as we've seen at the combine for a running back catching football. And then he worked out as they were doing the receiver drills too.
Correct. And then he did the punt return drills. I mean, he was out here for about a day and a half.
Yeah. He was the gym rat that we all know he is. Except he never took the Sharpie out of his sock when he scored like he did in that mascot game when he was a kid.
Right. You always remember that kind of stuff. You're funny.
You can see tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Saquon Barkley in studio. He's going to make his way out to Los Angeles to do that too. He's getting on a plane tonight, one assumes. There's Saquon Barkley.
Wheel looking back. Now the acceleration. Easy catch. Guys, when you can catch the football, it's no effort.
Man, I'm glad he's not in the Big Ten anymore, I'll tell you that. All right. Back here live during drills for running backs. Just finishing up the wheel routes that we started a couple minutes ago. It's Darrell Williams. He's the last. Going through those who have dropped.
Levon Coleman from Washington.
Oh boy. You only get a second bite. You don't get a third. It's Hines.
Hines should never drop it.
Yeah, he should never drop these. This is what he's going to be at the next level.
Correct.
Jackson.
Justin Jackson as well.
Yeah. Run through it.
Shard. Go. All right. And Thomas.
Jacksonville State, Auburn transfer.
There. Nice.
Yep. Caught that easily.
And Walton.
And to LT's point, this is what Mark Walton is going to be also.
It's a little far.
Yeah. Danny Etling led him a little too far there, I think.
It's also about ball skills, guys. Being able to adjust to the ball. It's not going to always be thrown perfectly.
Hey, bring it up. Same thing. We'll talk the next route here just real quick. Let them get back. Getting in that end, man.
Daniel Jeremiah, what are your thoughts having watched most of the running backs?
Well, I think we've been standing here, Rich and Mike, a little bit, awe is not the right word, but I think there's a great amount of appreciation for what we're seeing out of this group of running backs. Would you say that'd be correct?
No, it's a good group. We had some guys that didn't run the 40s, too, that have had good field workouts. I think Kerryon Johnson from Auburn, who's a really good football player in that second, third round range, he's had a good field workout out here. And I think when you're watching this at home and wondering the importance of watching these guys go through the pass routes, Corey Clement at Wisconsin, taken off the field in third downs, only caught 12 balls his last year at Wisconsin. Proved out here you can do it. Gets to the Philadelphia Eagles, 4 catches for 100 yards in the Super Bowl. Oh, boy, big whoop.
Yeah, and don't forget, that's part of the Wisconsin philosophy, too. It goes all the way back to the Godfather himself, Barry Alvarez. You hand the ball to running backs. You don't throw it to them, right? So they are able to develop it. But you were talking earlier today about Corey Clement. And he had an interesting comp with a running back who's here in this drill right now.
Oh, you look at Kelly from Tennessee. He is such a physical runner. He's caught the ball pretty well. He's not the most fluid athlete, but does a little bit of everything. And all the plays you watch of these running backs this year, to me, watching what he did against Alabama and putting Harrison on the ground, their big physical safety, he is a tough physical runner.
Yeah, and DJ was talking earlier, guys, about Mark Walton from the University of Miami and him coming back off of injury last year. This is a loaded group of running backs, and we can't say it enough. Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing as a third-rounder last year. We're going to find some real quality players again this season.
All right, it's a new route that we're running right down the line there.
Guys, just back it up. This is a swing route. Usually you have a free release when you're running this route. And the idea is to outflank the defense. Quarterback needs to get that ball to you right away and allow you to work with it. You see Saquon Barkley get out there pretty quickly, get that ball, and now he can do work.
It's a little flare route. You know what they're doing now a lot, LT? This exact route, but it's really a flare screen.
Yeah.
You know, and they're pulling the tackle, or it's a variation of a bubble screen where wide receivers are blocking for the running back. It's just another way to get creative touches to your running back in space.
It's a long handoff, Mike.
Yeah, exactly right.
I mean, and just saw Barkley run that drill.
Yeah.
I swear Jay-Z hasn't paid me a dime. I swear. Him and Odell Beckham in the same offense, and Ingram last year too. One of the more talented.
Yep, tight end
who catches the football.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Shepard too. I mean, in year 3 for him, right?
LT's dying to get in here. Go ahead,
I was just going to say, to Rich's point,
you know,
yeah, he might not get to 3. He might not get to 3.
He's not going to get to 3. He's not. I don't think he will.
Yeah, so I know a lot of the Colts fans, you know, they're hoping to get him, but I just don't see him getting past the Giants. You're right, Rich.
I mean, Sean O'Hara was talking about going with the guard, and that may be the right move, Mike. And I know again. The right move, as we're watching the running backs work out here, maybe get that guy, build the line, do in a way what Dallas has done, build a line that can last for a long time.
All I'm saying is it's March 1st, and nobody knows what the Giants don't know what they're going to do. So Rich Eisen can't know.
Except I know better. And I know that area too, Mike. And I know what these fans are.
No
offense to the fans. I know.
Doesn't matter what they think.
Okay.
The idea is to build a football team.
Got it.
And once you get, and I'm not disagreeing. Barkley might be the right pick there. I'm just saying let's keep the window open here a little longer.
Certainly, if you can.
Can I jump in real quick on that
Charles.
window?
As we watch, by the way, Sony Michel, who might be available at the top of the second round for the Giants to come back should they go a different direction. Yeah. But they're first, I understand.
Hey, guys, can I jump in on that window real quick?
Sure.
I love the discussion, and I think Sean mentioned it earlier. You know, Dave Gettleman, now the new GM. I think you're both right on this one, and I know you're not even arguing about it. But I remember Coach Gettleman telling me, and I played against Coach Gettleman's teams in high school, so I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of a relationship. He used to tell me all the time, Charlie, it's always going to be a big man's game. And you're talking about two big people. You talk about Quentin Nelson, you talk about Saquon Barkley. They both fit the model of how he likes to build a football team.
But what we just saw Gettleman doing with his hands, I would make those hand movements watching Saquon Barkley work out with the #2 overall selection, too.
Guys,
I'd make those Dr. Evil moves myself. But he's still doing it.
Evil.
I'd still do it.
He just stopped. He heard you.
LT, sorry.
I also believe you have to build a football team based on who you play against in your own division. And with the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott, the way they play football, sometimes you have to be able to match what they're bringing, to the table. So I just don't see how you can pass on Saquon Barkley at number 2.
All I'm telling you, and again, it's too early for anything.
Yep.
The biggest weakness on the New York Giants football team is their offensive line. And if you don't have an offensive line, you can't run the ball, Eli can't throw the ball, and Odell Beckham doesn't get any touches. So at the end of the day, you can take whoever you want it to, but you better sign some free agents, draft some people. Gettleman calls them hog mollies. He's got to get those big hog mollies up front, or the rest of it doesn't matter.
We'll take a break. One more drill for the running backs group, and then the day will be done with on-field drills, and then we turn our attention to the wide receivers and quarterbacks and tight ends. But one last time, as they would say, the stage in Hamilton with an on-field drill with the Giants when we come back. It's like a little mini gauntlet here where the running backs catch a ball towards one cone and then again to the other, flip it, come back and go straight up the gut.
They get an opportunity to catch 3 passes in a very short period of time with change of direction involved. 1, flip it, get your eyes back up. 2, flip it, right down the line, catch it, now get north. And if you double catch it or drop it, it's pretty obvious in this drill. So you've got to catch them all cleanly because the ball gets on top of you fairly quickly when you turn. It's the running back version of the gauntlet drill.
Yeah, that's what I said, a little mini gauntlet.
Yep.
The idea is to stay on that line as well.
Exactly.
You got to stay on that line.
Some of these guys want to bow it backwards to give themselves more time. Right down the line. Here's Hines. He looks good.
Yeah, you can really tell though.
Yep.
He has fluid hands. Nicely done.
Jackson. He had about 122 catches in his 4 years at Northwestern.
That was nice as well.
Kerryon Johnson. I would tell you that some of the value of these backs, especially in the pass game, is going to be determined today and at their pro days when they get an opportunity to have the scouts put them through extensive receiving drills. Sean Kelly, the drop. His Florida tape was outstanding. Beyond that, it was up and down. I was surprised he came out early. Here's Michelle, 2. There you go.
Pretty good.
He only had 9 receptions this year, and I did a reception reel on him this year and last year. It's basically just all checks, flats, and screens. They don't ask him to do much at all, which is why he's going to have to show a greater variety of route running in his pro day. Penny turned the wrong way. That's a bad thing when you've had 20 guys go in front of you and you turn the wrong way to catch the ball.
You say a bad penny just turned up?
Oh my goodness.
Hey now, I've been waiting seriously all day.
You must have been out late last night because usually you're earlier with one of those. You know?
I don't hoot with the Owls at the Combine. Come on now, Mike. I'm focused.
How's Shefty doing?
He's good.
Good.
Schefter eats at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Like he lives in Boca Raton. Please.
Brock Thomas.
Run. What?
On.
There you go.
Mike, what do you think about this kid from Iowa, Watley? I've seen him on tape. He flashed a couple of times. Smaller than I thought he would be.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's Walton just double caught the first 2. That's not great.
He turned the wrong way.
Yep. Wadley's a tough kid. You know, for his size, he runs hard. He's a physical, tough runner. He's a little quicker than he is fast. He'll stick his nose in the fan on pass protection. But he's going to have to make his living on third down and special teams.
So he's a change of pace guy.
Yeah. And Williams. I'd just like to go to LSU and have two guys ahead of you named Fournette and Geis. And then stay in there, hang in there, play your tail off on special teams and at tailback, and become the MVP of your team by vote of your teammates. Michel's one of the guys I think's value is going to be attached to whether or not he can run routes and catch the football. I know he can run the ball when you hand it to him. So we can take a look today at what he did in the pass game. Here's a quick snapshot. Flat route. Easy catch up the field. Arrow route. Little double catch there. No. Deep ball. Comes back and catches it. And another deep ball, took his eyes off early and dropped it. So we had a double catch and a drop out of the 4 we showed you. Now, when we got into the drill that we just showed you, the mini gauntlet, find the ball, he did a nice job. So I would, if I was his agent, I'd be doing nothing but routes and catching the ball between now and Pro Day, and I'd run a bunch of wide receiver routes at my Pro Day.
So here are your official 40-yard dash times. Hines is the only one to break 4.4, but Barkley, who we timed at 4.41 at his fastest, official at 4.4 flat, which is ridiculous.
Welcome back to Indianapolis, where day one of the Scouting Combine is in the books. I'm Kim Jones. Let's wrap up a few things, but start with where we began the day, and that was talking about Notre Dame guard Quentin Nelson, who came in here as a presumptive top 10 pick. He says he should go in the top 5. Teams love his nastiness. He did not disappoint today. We just saw the running backs complete their drills. Let's talk for a moment about Mark Walden from Miami, who we really didn't talk a whole lot about. He did have a pretty good day. He's pretty happy with it. But his story goes beyond just these drills. Today is the first anniversary of Mark Walden's mother's passing. She died after suffering a stroke. He lost his father when he was 7. His father was murdered. So Mark Walden said to me just now, he does think he had a pretty good day, but he's looking forward to getting back to Miami, where he knows his 15-year-old sister needs him, and so does his 1-year-old daughter. There's always more to these stories than just a 40 time and the number of bench press reps. That's always a reminder of that. Speaking of those numbers, however, the star of the day today was Saquon Barkley, as we could have predicted. I just talked to Barkley. Here were his numbers that really matter. 29 on the bench press yesterday, a 41-inch vertical jump as a 233-pound running back, and an official 40 time of 4.40. And get this, he's not happy. He says he's going to go back and work on his technique when it comes to the 40. He says he wanted a few more bench presses. He thought he could get to 35, settled for 29. And he also said he wants another inch on that 41-inch vertical. So that is a young man who holds himself to such a high standard, and the teams absolutely love him. Looking ahead to tomorrow, get ready for Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen, who took completely different tacks today with the media. Rosen said, "I love football. I play the game for my teammates. I want people to understand that." Rosen, of course, out of LSU. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma, 6 foot tall. He has a lot of charisma. He has a lot of confidence. He said if anyone can turn around the Cleveland Browns, it's him. And when asked about the possibility of backing up Eli Manning, Mayfield said he's not going to settle for being a backup. All that's to come tomorrow when we see the quarterbacks. We will be back here from Indianapolis as day one from the Scouting Combine concludes.
All right, time to give you the best choice presented by Golden Corral. I'll give it to you. It's Saquon Barkley. Mayock's still on break right now, so let me do it. Let me do it. Saquon Barkley is quicker than fast, and he is faster than quick. He's quick and fast. He's good. He's better than good. He's really good. He's awesome good. He runs fast. He jumps high. He jumps high. He runs fast. He lifts weights. He can save the world. this guy should go to the Giants. How was that, guys?
Not bad, Rich.
What do you think?
I think Mike was reading. I think he was off reading somewhere.
He was reading. He's definitely reading.
And Rich, I think
reacting. He's reading. Don't worry, Mike. I did the Golden Corral for you.
Rich, I think you did a cross of Mike Mayock and John Gruden. Is actually pretty good right there, the way you smashed it together.
Well, what'd you think?
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was excellent. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and look ahead now, Rich, and look ahead to tomorrow because quarterbacks and receivers take center stage. Daniel, we know there's some big names out there. There are also some guys we haven't talked about much that'll get their chance at the spotlight, too.
Yeah, we're going to have a chance to see that big five we've been talking about. Obviously, Darnold is not going to throw from USC, but you look at Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Those are the headliners. And then I'm keeping an eye on the quarterbacks in that next tier. Guys like Luke Falk and Mason Rudolph competing to be the top of that next group. So can't wait to watch those guys throw as well as we'll see some of the biggest wide receivers we've seen in quite some time. 7 of them over 6'4" out here tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're talking about a basketball squad now starting to invade the NFL ranks that you're going to be throwing to. But before we get to the receivers, I come back to Mason Rudolph, Oklahoma State. You talk about the Big Five. A lot of people think that he should be included in the Big Five or make it a Big Six. Is he right on the precipice? Is he right in that second tier? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I kind of still lump him with Luke Falk. I think both those guys are competing together to be that next guy. I still have him a little bit behind that first 5 group, but let's watch Lamar Jackson, by the way. You think he wants to put on a show out here for everybody?
Yeah, he wants to put on a show, and he wants to tell everyone he's not going to be a wide receiver. He's going to be a pure quarterback, which is what he should be. How about these receivers, though? Calvin Ridley may be the headliner, but you mentioned all these tall fly catchers going out there. There are a few other names. Cortland Sutton coming out of SMU. Christian Kirk.
Florida State's a big one. You've got Christian Kirk, who's going to be a day one slot.
He won't be 6'4", but he's a day one slot.
Yeah, we've got big guys, we've got little guys, we've got fast guys. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And the way that the game is going, those hybrid guys, too, because 6'4" now doesn't preclude you from getting into the slot. They're putting those big guys in the slot and creating mismatches that way and running tight end plays. Sutton could be one of those guys from SMU.
No question whatsoever. Look, today was fun with the running backs. And speaking of running backs, I think we got a Hall of Famer down there on the field. LT, what's going on?
Hey, guys. I'll tell you what, this was a real solid running back group, I'll tell you. And it was obviously headlined by Saquon Barkley, which I talked to one running backs coach in the National Football League who said all Saquon did today was check off all the boxes, which is not surprising. But I'll tell you, from top to bottom, there are about 6 or 7 guys that will be value picks in the National Football League. They ran well, they caught the ball well, and they moved well. And I really was impressed with a guy like Rashad Penny from San Diego State today. Had a very good time. He's obviously a guy that has prototypical size, but he can add a dimension to your offense, catching the ball out the backfield, as well as in the special teams game. We know that he was a returner in college for a number of years, so he can do that as well. Darius Geis also had a really good time today. Moved well, caught the ball well. So I'll tell you, there will be a lot of value picks from the running back position. I'd say from round 1 to the end of round 3.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that, LT. Rashad Penny ran 4.46 and ran back 7 kicks for touchdowns. So as soon as you draft him, he's your kick returner, for if nothing else. Thanks for a fantastic day from you, our Hall of Famer, breaking down all these running backs. We appreciate that as we say goodbye to you. Thanks again for all of your great work today.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, LT. DJ, final thoughts on day 1.
Well, I thought the first group of offensive linemen was solid. I thought the second group was a little bit better than solid, pretty special. Connor Williams, to me, was outstanding from Texas, and what he did, I thought he entered as the top tackle. I thought he left here as the top tackle.
And we spent some time with some offensive line coaches, and Colton Miller from UCLA, they're sending them back to the tape room to watch him some more, because what he did athletically today, they're wondering why he's not considered a better football player. They want to find that out. So got a lot of that happening. We saw the running backs. They were absolutely spectacular. Big first day, guys. Big first day.
No question about that. Thank you, guys, up there in the concourse. We're here in the booth. We'll take it from here. How you doing, Mike?
Apparently I missed something.
No, it's okay. All 32 teams asked me to work out as an analyst. And you know what? Even though I think I'm a host and I think I came here to be a host. I just wanted to show off my hybrid ability. That's all.
I apologize. I got pulled into a room by a head coach and a general manager.
Name them. I want names. Who did?
They're new. Or at least one of them's
Okay.
new. One of them's new, and they gave me a big hug, and we talked a little bit about their plan and what they're trying to do. And I guess I lost track of time, and I apologize.
It's all good, Mike.
I'm sorry.
You can stay. So Darnold is not spinning it tomorrow. I know. I feel the same way.
I kind of don't get it, and I don't want to blow it up because it
Sure.
isn't that big a deal at all.
Right.
But the whole thing is come out here in front of all 32 teams and show off a little bit. Have some fun. Show you're not afraid to spin it. Nobody cares if the ball's complete or not.
Right.
And by the way, at the end of the day, after his pro day and everything, nobody's going to care that he didn't throw here. So I'm not trying to blow it up, but you got an opportunity to throw in front of all 32 teams and say, guess what? I'm pretty special. And you didn't take advantage of it.
Well, let's show everybody just how special he is based on what we saw in the eye in the sky. Not lying about this young man from USC.
Yeah, plus size, plus arm. And when you start talking about vision, accuracy, pump fake, comes down. Now watch where this ball ends up. This is one of my favorite throws on the run.
Beautiful.
There was a tiny window. Play action. Athletic kid, keeps his eyes up again. So when he scrambles to extend the play, his eyes are always up looking to beat you. Can he run? Yeah. Does he look like the most athletic kid? He doesn't look it, but I promise you, 23 points a game in high school basketball. Here he is, eluding the rush. But that's the problem in the pocket. Too many fumbles, loose ball security, too many interceptions in the end zone. The turnovers are his issue. Josh Rosen, the most beautiful natural thrower of the football in this draft or just about any draft. Steps up in the pocket, feels pressure from the left side where Colton Miller's guy is getting off. And look at this location. But he's always on balance. The ball is always where it belongs. Play action on this one again. He'll get his hips turned around. Watch his feet. Set up. There's the vision. He knows where he's going to go. He moves the safety with his eyes and comes backside with a dart. He's got everything you want from arm strength and accuracy. The problem are the injuries, the durability, and his inability to escape pressure in the pocket. So when I look at these quarterbacks, I think Darnold has got a chance to be the first guy taken. I think Allen has the most upside. I worry about Rosen's ability to survive an NFL pocket. Mayfield, some people are going to like, some people aren't going to like. Lamar Jackson's the guy I am absolutely excited to see tomorrow. And Mason Rudolph, I think he's a really solid quarterback that fits the prototype that most teams are looking for.
Let me just start the Darnold conversation here. Where do you stand on his bowl game against Ohio State, where you had a front seven and a coordinator that could mimic the NFL as well as anybody at that level, right?
Ohio State, yes, go ahead.
So, and I know USC's lineup front was subpar, decimated, however you want to put it. But where do you stand on Darnold's performance on that as an evaluator, him coming in?
Yeah, I look at it as one game amongst many, and I don't overdo that one game. The Ohio State front was way better than his front, and Greg Schiano did a heck of a job.
Okay, we're going to go to break because Saquon Barkley's standing by, someone who I think should be the next New York Football Giant. I'm just flat out. I'm just dropping it all right now. Oh my God!
Hang in there, Saquon. We'll be right
Barkley.
there, man.
See, I could say these things. He won't. He can't. But when we come back, a guy who jumped out of this building and had a terrific combine, Saquon Barkley. When we come back, joins us live. Well, quite a combine for Saquon Barkley. 29 reps of 225, 41-inch vert, 4.4 flat 40. Last year's combine, only one individual had more than 25 reps of 225 and a vertical of more than 40 inches, and that was the number one overall pick in the draft, Myles Garrett. And Saquon Barkley kind enough to hang out with us for just a few more minutes. Mike Mayock, Rich Eisen, and you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
What are your thoughts on your combine?
I had some goals set. I wanted to get into 4.3s. I wanted to get at least a 42 in a vert. But like I said, I can't complain about the things I did today. One of my goals was, when we caught the ball, to make sure the ball didn't touch the ground, and I was able to do that and try to look smooth and do the drills and finish.
Now, Saquon, when it comes right down to it, and you're in the meetings at night, what do you get the feeling that these teams want to know about you?
Well, yeah, a lot of teams just try to get to know my football side, you know. I did a really good job and got good credit to my teammates and coaches of not getting in trouble in school, and didn't have really any baggage coming along with me. So it was a lot of football talk and getting to know a little bit of my family background, just a little bit of that, but got to go on the board and talk six-man protection and talk about what I saw in this film play and so on and so on.
So how did you feel like you did on the pass protection stuff?
Yeah, I think I did really good. I felt really comfortable with that. In college, my coach, Coach Huff, really installed into all the running backs so that you have to do that at the next level and prepare yourself. So when I got up there, just talking football was nothing to me.
So who'd you interview with?
I interviewed with the Giants, the Jets, Colts, Buccaneers, 49ers, and the Broncos.
You got to say the word Browns unless people in Cleveland are going to have a heart attack. The Browns did not sit you down, Saquon?
I talked to the Browns. You know, everyone have different strategies, but you know, so I just my mindset was I did a lot of informals too. My mindset was treat every coach like that could be the coach that drafts you, because you never know, within 4 to 5 years you could be a free agent one day and you want to leave a lasting impression on a coach. Is
it a true story that you once thought about playing for the Jets? Did I hear that from the podium this week, Saquon?
Yeah, I can't say I'm a Jets fan now. I'm pretty neutral right now.
Okay.
Preparing for the draft, but growing up my whole life I've been a Jets fan. My dad has a Jets tattoo right here too, so you know.
Wow. Okay, well, you don't want your dad to remove that, right? I mean,
no, wherever I go, my dad's obviously going to follow, but he's still going to be a Jets fan at heart, you know. So I can't take that away from him. But I was born in the Bronx. My dad lived in the Bronx in New York for at least 35 years of his life, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we moved to PA at a young age, but I kind of followed me. When I was 2 years old, my dad always said that other kids were playing around, like playing with toys or whatever, at a young age, and I was attached to his hip watching the Jets game, so I'm very familiar with a lot of Jets running backs like Curtis Martin and the Thomas Jones era and Leon Washington and
very cool.
Mark Sanchez and all those guys.
Well, I mean, you know, and obviously Blair Thomas before you, if you want to make a connection to Penn State, to the hashtag We Are, which, by the way, James Franklin tweeted at me when I put all your stats out there on Twitter, and in that respect, I mean, going to Penn State and your experience and what you did there and bring it to the next level, playing in that environment, how do you think that has prepared you for what's to come?
100% prepared me for this moment, you know. You come to college, and the way we work at Penn State, we do a lot of similar things that put you in a position here for the combine, and you grind there. That's the mindset that we had. Obviously, we went through a little struggle over there with a couple sanctions and had a rebound, so the way we had to rebound was work and push each other, and so that's all I know is come through and focus on my work ethic. At the end of the day, if you come in and you work hard, no one can take that from you. So Coach Franklin, Coach Galt, Coach Losi, Coach Huff, all so on. There's so many people there, from the coaching staff to the strength staff to the academic staff, that have shaped me to the man I am today and helped me for this moment, not only on the field but in the interviews also.
Well, let's walk you through just for a couple more minutes before, as I know you like to get out of Dodge. Let's take a look. 225. What do you think right there when you see that 29?
I got to like 19, and in my head I was like, you got to get 30. You got to get 30. So I got pretty close. I got to 29. Wish I got 30. My 40, the first one, I kind of got a little messed up because the way I was practicing, you were able to take all it up and with your lead foot, and I had to back up.
Right.
I fixed it the second time, and I came out and stumbled, but I definitely like my second half better, my 40. And here I wanted to show that I'm natural catching the ball. You know, a lot of people think a 230-pound back can't catch a ball fluent. I wanted to show that and not put a ball on the ground, and whether it's a deep ball or corner, track the ball and over my head.
Yeah, well, Saquon, look, it's been fun watching you play at the previous level, and speaking on behalf of all those who root for a team outside of Penn State in the Big Ten. We're very glad that you're going to the next level. Good luck to you at that next level.
Hey, great day today, man. Good luck, okay?
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Saquon Barkley. Thanks very much. We'll see you on NFL Total Access tomorrow, and out there in Los Angeles whenever you want. Stop on by.
Yes, sir.
You bet. That's Saquon Barkley right here live on NFL Network, and he's going to be on Total Access tomorrow. Okay, so he did more reps than Joe Thomas. He had a better 10-yard split than Deshaun Jackson. His 40-yard dash faster than Devin Hester, and his vertical jump higher than Julio Jones. That's all.
And his attitude of being humble.
Second to none, right?
Work ethic. I've known a bunch of people up there in State College, and they've been talking about this kid for years, as much off the field for his positive attributes as on the field.
I'll say it one more time.
New York football
Kids
Giants.
from the Bronx. I'm serious. I mean, he knows the area. His family knows the area. He's comfortable in the area. I mean, again, and I know, these are all situations. Wow, that I did not know his great uncle is Iran Barkley.
I was going to ask about that.
I did not know.
Yeah, his great uncle and his father was a boxer also,
Jeez.
so there's a heavy boxing background in the family.
So, look, and I know you have said you can't do it for the fan base, and you've got to focus in on X, Y, and Z about long term for the future. That said, you have to, and you have to focus in on a fan base. And last July, there he is with Odell Beckham. Imagine that is how you get the Giants fans back in the house after a dreadful season where many of them were pissed off at how Eli Manning was handled and how Eli Manning was installed back in, Mike, because, and hear me out here, their final 3 games were at home. Their final 3 home games were all against division opponents. And so the Giants do think in the back of their head or at the frontal lobe about how the fan base would react. And now Cleveland could spoil apart and just take that kid first overall, which I think would set us on edge or over the edge on draft night if that happened, leaving a quarterback there and setting everything on a draft board elsewhere. But he's terrific in every aspect. And to team him up with Odell Beckham for Eli Manning's dotage years makes complete sense to me.
I know it does.
Sense to me.
And you're a fan, and I applaud that, and I get that. All I'm saying, and I'm not saying he's not the right guy. He very well might be the perfect guy, and I might be banging the table by April. Okay, all I'm trying to say is the door has to stay open for 2 reasons. Number one, the quarterback thing has to be looked at ad nauseum, and I hate to say it, but if they believe there's a franchise 10-year quarterback in this draft, I think they're going to take him. Okay, but you better believe in that franchise quarterback because Saquon Barkley's special.
Which one do you think would fit the Giants?
I would say either Darnold or Josh Allen.
When one of those two can be available at 2.
Oh yeah. And again, it's early, and
for sure
they don't know the kids yet. Okay, Saquon Barkley, and I think and I'm on record as saying the 2 best football players in this draft are Saquon Barkley and Quentin Nelson. I've been on record for over 2 months about that.
That is true.
Okay, so outside of the quarterback position, I believe in those 2 kids more than anybody in this draft. So it's not like we're not on the same page with how special Barkley is. I'm with you. I'm just saying there are more considerations than the typical fan thinks, just, we got to get him. And they better, I keep harping on this, they better fix the offensive line. And trust me, Dave Gettleman will do that.
Well, that was an interesting day 1 with offensive linemen and with running backs now heading for the airport. Tomorrow, we're back on the air at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. So it was a great first day for all of us here on the field. Kim Jones, LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean O'Hara, for Steve Smith and Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis. This is a fun day, Mike Mayock.
That was an awesome day, man. I can't wait for tomorrow.
And that's what we just agreed on Saquon Barkley, but it sounded like we were arguing. Sounds like a guy from Philly and a guy from New York talking football right there.
Exactly right.
We'll see you on Friday. Is in the books. We'll see you on Saturday, 9 a.m.